So by going over this with 2 different harrows, and we're actually going to go over with an empty seeder as well at 3 different angles. And what we're trying to do essentially is pack this down. I'm in Old Salty here, the 3520 you're looking at right now. Ken is on the Johnny X 1038X, well, 1025R. And Dave is getting ready to get out on the seeder. In our last episode, we fluffed this up with the tiller, and now we're trying to get it knocked back down. It will be very rough for Dave later to deal with. Dave, the owner of this property. So by going at all these different angles, we will eventually get this packed down pretty nicely. And yeah, it should just be more level, more smooth.
These harrows can be operated in 3 different orientations. With the tines facing downward, you can pull the harrow in either direction for 2 different levels of aggressiveness, or you can turn it over to have the teeth just facing up.
I actually think my more aggressive harrow setting may be doing better than yours, Ken. Now, what does it look like when you're going over what I've already angled? Is it looking better than where you're going first time over?
There's still a lot of clumping, a lot of grass clumps and all. But it looks great. It still looks very fluffy to me. I'm not sure we're packing it down.
Have confidence. Have confidence.
All right, I said I'm not sure. I didn't say it wasn't.
I think I'm working like a hay rake here. I'm raking all that grass and stuff into one pile over here. But it's really uneven after you go over it, but it seems like after I go at an angle to what you've done that it's looking a lot better.
What is the planting wildflowers here? So doesn't intend to mow this at all?
I don't think he intends to mow it.
Okay. Now, are you doing this in B range or C range?
I'm running in B range. Are you running in low or high?
Low. I can't high.
Yep, can't high.
Ken on the 1025R has the harrow turned what I would call upside down, where the tines are pointed upward. That's the least aggressive orientation. Now I'm operating the 3520 Old Salty here that you're looking at now, and I'm in the most aggressive position. These harrows are 3-point mounted, or they can be pulled with an ATV, and they're from AmericanHarrow.com. These 2 harrows are identical except for the color, which I'll talk about in a minute. Both are the Econo Drag 6-foot 5-inch 3-point hitch mount. To pull with an ATV, you take off the rectangular frame that you see on the top, and then directly pull the harrow via a chain, which you can get from American Harrow as well.
So our goal, guys, is to have this perfectly smooth when we leave. None of these little dips. None of these tire tracks that you can kind of see. Perfectly smooth.
What about all these grass clumps? We're going to do about that.
Well, you might be surprised. I think the seeder will do a lot to mash some of those down.
Dave hasn't made an appearance yet, but he's bringing the seeder. He's first going to use the seeder as a simple cultipacker. We won't put any seed in it to start, and he can just run over it to help pack it down. Oh, here he is now.
Yeah, you're doing good, Dave. Don't run exactly down the same tire track. Overlap just enough to overlap your tires just a little. Does that make sense?
The yellow cables on the back of the 3046R are not necessary for this project. They're used for the laser grading system that we have. Hopefully that grading project will be coming up soon.
Dave, it's looking much better after you go over it.
I'm quite surprised by the relative performance of the 2 harrow orientations. I expected the upside down or least aggressive approach that Ken is using on the 1025R would work the best, but that's not what we're seeing. First, with the tines pointed upward, it's not doing as good a job of leveling. That part kind of makes sense, but the surprising part is that it's not handling the dead sod nearly as well as the other harrow. Of course, I'd like to attribute that to the skill of the driver. This rookie right here, well, yeah, rookie. But in reality, the more aggressive setting just seems to be doing a better job. The seeder's actually better than a simple cultipacker. It has 3 rows of rollers. The front 2 have spikes on them, and the last one looks more like a traditional cultipacker. You can either run it without seed like we're doing for this purpose, or you can disengage the drive operation, which is very easy to do. The seed company suggested that we mix oats with our wildflower seed.
Boy, those are tiny.
Well, they're various sizes. Sorry, Dave, that's the problem. Some of them so small that they blow away, like those that just hit Dave.
So we put a little wildflower seed in, and now we're putting oats in, and then we'll try to mix it all together to the best we can.
Now you know that your tires are wider than the seeder. Right?
Yep.
So this wildflower mix came from South Dakota, and it has a whole bunch of stuff in fine print. PA native blue vervain, MN as in Minnesota native boneset, Iowa native foxglove beard tongue, Iowa native golden Alexanders, Iowa native monkey flower, Minnesota native mountain mint, variety not stated, New England aster, Minnesota native Riddle's goldenrod, Iowa native sneezeweed, Minnesota native spotted Joe Pye weed, Iowa native swamp milkweed, Iowa native sweet black-eyed Susan, Minnesota native sweet flag, wild senna, round tree blue stem, riverbank wild rye, Nebraska 23 switchgrass, Iowa native fox sedge, South Dakota native dark green bulrush, and Iowa native wool grass. Milborn seeds, Brookings, South Dakota.
Sounds
Okay,
like a
Dave,
lot
would
of
you
stuff.
say half of that bag's left?
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds like a lot of stuff you'd spray for, Tim.
It sounds like a lot of stuff we'd spray for, so who knows, maybe next year we'll be back here spraying it.
Oh, well, plenty of oats.
Job security.
Yep.
The oats are meant to help it feed better through the cedar, and they come up and then they'll die off.
Right, and they'll leave it, give a good spot.
Better the straw. Oat straw will be good.
Right, they will come up so that the weeds don't get in there and allow the flowers to come up through it.
Yeah.
Kind of the idea. I like it.
So go at a slightly different angle yet. Figure yourself out a different angle.
But not straight and
Yeah, maybe just a little bit this way or something,
just
right?
so kick it a
Yeah.
little bit. Sounds
Something just a little bit different, right?
This seeder's ground driven, so in theory at least, it doesn't matter how fast you're driving. I really like that. The rate can be adjusted easily, and it can be specifically tested with a tray that's provided, but I'm not sure that would help us as we really didn't know the overall area. We'll check quite frequently and adjust the rate as we go. Hopefully we don't run out in one pass here. This seeder has an option for front disc cutters rather than the front rollers that we see here. I've tried both, and I think I'm more comfortable with the front rollers than the discs for most situations. Of course, if you want to try to use a single attachment for a food plot, etc., you could use the discs to prepare the soil before you ever start seeding.
A lot of cat prints on this thing.
Oh yeah, cats love it.
Ken and I decided to leave Dave with the seeding and see if we could get this backfield ready.
It may seem like we're going over this a lot, but you need to watch Neil from Dig Drive DIY. He did this for like 2 weeks on a 6 acre property. Yeah. And this dragging it is what levels it out and gets it all going.
At first I was just dragging the extra clumps of grass kind of to the edge, and then I decided to just drag them all the way off the field. They'll dry out and rot pretty quickly, and then he can mow over them with a mower. Not sure if you can see the performance of the two harrow orientations from here or not, but hopefully it's helpful for you to see a little bit of a difference. American Harrows, new Harrows, have the two color combinations, the red and the black. I think they look really sharp. The original one I have is all black, and it's for sale if anybody's interested. I'll pin a comment to the top asking for bids, and then you can just reply to that comment with your bid, and after a week or so, if the bidding's died down, and as long as the bid's high enough that it passes my internal reserve, you'll win a harrow. Retail price is $1,500, I believe, with code TTWT, so please don't bid more than that. I don't want to ship, so you'll have to pick it up here, near Lebanon, Indiana. I like the looks of this seed bed after Dave goes over it. We've got it nice and smooth in case the owner Dave would like to mow it at some time in the future. So overall, I'm quite pleased.
Temperature is running hotter today doing this, but the engine temperature is cooler.
Interesting. You would think that with the PTO off, trans temperature would be lower, but on the other hand, you're actually pulling.
Yeah.
How hot is it?
That's not too hot. Closer to 180, or closer to 190 than it was. Still below that. Anything,
At least keep it churning somehow.
100 degrees above ambient is pretty good, so.
Well, that is a huge oil cooler in there. If that doesn't cool it, nothing will.
This has the biggest pump in it, I assume, Kevin?
Yeah. Go big or go home.
That's what I'm down here.
You know, this has been a blast to me because it makes it feel like I can pretend to be a farmer.
Yeah, on a small scale for sure.
Yeah, and yet I don't have to worry about all the financial struggles that they're going through with low commodity prices and everything right now. I can just pretend.
Yep.
I mean, what we're planting is not even harvestable, is it?
No, I guess it's not. All these wildflowers. I mean, when I started reading those off, if there were any farmers watching, they're going, "What? What? You're planting that?"
Yep.
Sally told me I could come over and cut all the flowers I wanted.
There we go.
The birds will appreciate it.
It'll be interesting. I wasn't sure how many flowers there were in what we read, and it sounded more like
Weeds.
to me.
I say that same list is on the on the back of a Roundup bottle, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Ken, did you get enough of Johnny X this
Yeah, I
visit?
think maybe I can graduate up to a 2 series maybe next.
graduate up. This is a strange twist.
I'm sorry. I feel like I got demoted. But you
No,
call it
no.
a promotion. I don't know. I haven't felt that way yet.
That's the second highest horsepower we're using today.
You're right.
Not only that, it is the prized possession of TTWT.
Yeah.
That's true. You're right.
Great things come in small packages.
Ken doesn't appreciate it, but I know you guys do. So yeah, Johnny X did a great job, despite the driver.
At least I didn't almost flip it.
Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'm going to run the harrow over this one more time after Dave gets done seeding, and then we're going to call it good. And maybe next spring we'll be able to show you some photos of it and see if we actually got a stand.
Yep.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on
Tractor Time with Tim.
Consider how the wildflowers grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you, not even Solomon in all of his splendor was dressed like one of these.
Don't worry, Ken. I should be right above your head. Okay.
It was Dave's head you were almost. Wow.
Well, I didn't hit him, right?
No, you just didn't know which one you weren't hitting.
No, I could see Dave.